The biggest battle that we will ever have to face is the battle between you and you. It's the battle of taking your mind to that limit and then breaking through. On the Mindful Experiment podcast, we will be interviewing individuals who have done that, who have gone through the struggles, who have tried to create a reality and all that they could. And when all the odds were against them, they made the impossible possible. I'm your host, Dr. Vic Manzo, and I want to thank you for being on the podcast and taking this journey with me as we go through and discover different avenues to break through those limits, different avenues to help you expand your reality so that you can evolve into the person that you desire to be. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. The single most important thing to know about resistance. We are going to dive deep into that today. I'm so excited to have you on the show today. This is Dr. Vic, and you're on the Mindful Experiment. As we are talking today about resistance, one of the things I wanted to share is about how resistance really causes all the grief, anger, sorrow, frustration, fear, worries, shame, guilt, you name it, all the negative emotions that we experience on the spectrum of being human. Why do we resist so much? Why is it that we resist all the things that we want to achieve in life? I've seen this in my own life. I've learned that, as Lao Tzu once said, to master the mind, the know someone else or to control someone else is strength, but to master oneself is like wisdom and knowledge. I'm messing up this quote, but what it meant is that if you master yourself, you master all things, and that you have to really focus on you. So for my life, I've always looked at my things that I go through and let it be learning tools, let it be learning experiences, let it be something to guide me. And I've learned, and I'm still learning, and as I'm human, as you guys know, listening to my podcast, I'm not here to say I am perfect and have everything I share down to a T. I utilize these things. I'm good at it. I get better and better as time goes on. But I'm trying to, there's times things still get to me. There's times things I lose my mark. We talked about on one of the podcasts that'll be coming up is about, the sins, creating sins, and how I miss my mark sometimes. And I let things get in the way. I let the distractions get in the way. And, some people go, man, this is like nitpicking. And it's like, well, when you understand that everything you say, do, think is exposed to the universe, and the universe responds back to everything you say, do, think, it's always listening. And the law of most resistance is what most people do. So let's break down a little bit about this. As always, this is a concept that I talk about in my book. In one of the chapters, we go over something, the law of least resistance, and we talk about what humans actually do and what they do in their life and how that looks, and use all these analogies. And then we break down what is the law of most resistance, because that's what we mostly choose. And then what's the power behind going down the path of least resistance? Because the path of least resistance really is where your joy and happiness is. The path of least resistance is being in flow with the universe. You're in a dance. You're not trying to control anything. You know that most of the time you have control, but it's also the knowing of faith and trust that everything's going to work the way you want it to. But it's that dance and understanding it. Will there still be some sorrow and frustration at times? There could be. But you won't really let that bind to you. It doesn't stay long, because the key thing here is that you're in a state where you're in flow. You understand that there's going to be things that may not be where you want it to be, but it will happen. And since your focus is all on what it is you desire, and you're just trusting the process, things don't bother you as much. That's the beauty. So when we look at life, when you look at your life, all the things that you can't stand, all the things that you can't don't like, dislike, the issues in your relationships, the issues in your finances or your career, your mental health, physical health, whatever it may be, it's a resistance. It's a resistance that you're creating. It's the path of most resistance. You're fighting things. You're resisting those types of things. And when you start to continue to resist, you have to put energy into something to resist. You got to go into what we call in chiropractic a protection mode. Your nervous system goes into what's called a protection mode. And that's resistance, right? So that affects your health. When you resist things with the mind, it affects your overall health, but also your life and what you want to attract. And so when we look at resistance overall, you have to understand that Most of us are doing this, but we're going to talk about some concepts today on how you can break that pattern. We're going to talk about some concepts on how you can take this resistance and truly shift it into a path of flow. And what's that look like? What's that feel like? Because here's the thing, I can't really tell you 100%, but what I can do is give you indicators and tools to help you understand when you're in flow. And you'll know when you're in flow because things work out so much easier. It's not hard. The pressure's not really on you as much. Because you see, our ego, our mind thinks that we have to do it all, that it's up to us and that's it. But that's so far from the truth. The truth states that we are in a co-creation with the universe, a co-creation with God, if you want to put it that way. And we're creating a physical reality known as you. And you are creating a reality in this human world as who you are and what you're choosing to be to experience. So when you're doing all this, resistance thinks you have to do it all. The ego thinks you have to do it all. You're separate from everyone else. No one understands what you are. You only go through what you go through and no one else does. And the resistance side to that is thinking, well, number one, you have to do it all. It's up to you or nothing's ever going to happen. And that's partially true, but it's not 100% true. And I only state that because in my own life, that's what I used to think. I used to think that I had to do all the work. I used to think that it was up to me. I had to do them. I had to figure things out with my business. I had to figure things out with my life. Because for me, I just didn't want to be successful in business. I've seen too many people in my life who are super successful, multi-millionaires, but then they're unhappy or their marriage isn't well or their health is declining or they have health issues. I was tired of seeing that. I'm not saying it's a common pattern I've seen because I've met millionaires who are super healthy. They're extremely happy. They're in joy. They love life. They appreciate everything that happens in their life. And they're just in this perfect day. They truly focus on balance. And then when I started to see that, it gave me a different perspective to go, wait a minute. Okay, not all people who have money are sad and unhappy and all these other things. Because you understand my upbringing, that was my program until I changed it. And so when I looked at life now, all of a sudden I'm like, okay, that's what I want to have. I don't want to have to resist. I want to be able to be that type of a person. I want to be able to see myself being happy, vibrant, and healthy. I want to see myself having the best marriage that ever has existed on this earth and so much more. Those are the goals and dreams of what I am creating. And so when you're in this co-creation, you don't resist. It's not as much work. It's just like, hey, these are the things I'm going to do, and that's it. But what we do is, like I said, in every aspect of our life, we think it's all up to us, and we have to do all this work. We have to do all these things, and we just constantly got to keep working and doing things. And it's just a never-ending story of so much stuff that you have to do. In reality, you think, oh, no, maybe this isn't working, so I'm going to go over here and do this. Well, this isn't working. I'm going to go over here and do this. Well, I tried this. This doesn't work. I'm going to go over here and do this. And you just constantly bounce back and forth like a pinball in a pinball machine. And the key concept behind all that, then, is you're looking at life and going, okay, well, this is just life, and it's just nothing works, and this is what it is. And all of a sudden you get tired of it, and you get exhausted, and now you want to go comfortable. And comfortable is total just not growth at all. And the path of least resistance is the total opposite. You don't have to expend as much energy to achieve and do what it is you desire. I've had friends who everything always, you ever meet these people? Everything always works out for them. And you'll look and go, man, I bust my behind to try to get here, and there, and they don't even do half of that, and they're getting everything they want. They're attracting everything they want. That's the power of the least resistance. You see, the power of the least resistance is trust, number one. You have to have trust with it. You have to know within, and this is where faith comes in. And I'm not saying faith like religious. I'm saying faith in knowing that it's already happening. You have to have that deep conviction within yourself to know that it's going to work out and it's going to be what you desire to be. I share a lot of stories in my book, Rediscover Your Greatness. I share stories about some things I went through. And I didn't want to go through them, but I had to go through them. And I just knew at the end, I knew what I wanted to become. I knew what I wanted to be. I knew what kind of life I wanted to live. And I kind of closed my eyes and just went through it. And it worked. It worked out. It worked out in every fabric of my life when I did that. But you know what's funny? The times where I didn't do that, the times where I thought I had to do this, or I had to do that, or I had to be this, or I had to be that, failed. And not only did it fail, I was frustrated. I was angry. I was upset. I was annoyed because I thought this is what I needed to do to be here, and reality showed me, nope, because I was going up the path of most resistance. I was thinking I had to do all this work and do all these things to just make it happen. So there's a quote that I can help you with when it comes to the path of most resistant, okay? You make a plan, and God laughs, right? You humor God when you create your plans, when you say how this is going to map out. This is how it's going to go. The path of least resistance knows what is best for you. The path of least resistance is what you want. But you have to let go of the process. You got to let go of the journey. You can't fight and say this is what I want it to be. You can't fight and say this is how it's going to happen. Because that's the path to most resistance. That's you swimming upstream, right? Imagine a river going downstream. Now, if you just let go and go with the flow, you'll go exactly where you want to be. But what happens is you think you have to go upstream. And you keep swimming against the current. How tiring is that? Are you expending less energy or more energy? Think of it as ocean waves. I like this one better because it's a better image. So if you've ever been in an ocean, there's waves that come crashing against you. But once the wave crashes, right, there's also a pull. If you are going against the current, if you're going against, the path of most resistant, you're swimming against the waves, and then you get a little bit of a pull, and then you're swimming against the waves, and you're getting a pull. You will get exhausted so much quicker when you do that. The path of least resistance states that when you have a wave come, you just let go for a second and let it take you back a little. Then you start swimming again. So it's like taking 2 steps back to get 3. But the key thing is you always have assistance guiding you every time you start to swim. And you rest a little bit, and things are still working for you. And you're continually moving forward overall. And in the process, you don't spend as much energy. In the process, you let other forces help you. You have that wave that comes from behind and gives you that little bit of a push. So it makes it a little easier for you. The path of least resistance is the one that's not the hardest. The path of least resistance is where your joy, happiness, success, reality, all the things that you desire is at. The key thing is when you're looking at and when you're swimming in the ocean, trying to get out there, you have to look at what you want and just know you're going to get there. And let the universe do its work. As humans, we all want to figure every little thing out. Excuse me. I know, even coming from the health field, in the medical world, medicine, I think, blew up the way it did is because it gave a very concrete, linear explanations. And what that is it said, if you have this, you take this, and then you'll be good, right? A, whatever you come in with for A, you have a solution, B, and that's going to create results of C. Very linear, very easy to understand, worked out for humans. It worked for a short period of time. But now it doesn't as much anymore. And that's because as we went down this pattern in the beginning, we weren't over-toxicating the bodies, and we weren't changing genetics, or not genetics, evolutionary processes. We weren't creating more stress and toxicities within our life and so much more. That every time we pass down the generations, they're going to be a little bit more under stress and so forth right off the bat. And that's why we're in this epidemic as we are when it comes to our health, not only for adults, but even more importantly for children. And so when we look at that perspective now, it's not working as much anymore because it's not getting those results. And the thing about life is when it comes to your health, and like anything in life, there's no A plus B equals C type of concept. It could be A, Z, D, V, Y, L equals what you want. It's random. It's different for everyone. That's why I love being a chiropractor, because no matter what someone comes in with, I'm addressing the cause. I'm going right to the source, and I'm going to work at that. No matter what someone has. I always love the question. If have you ever worked with someone with concussions or seizures or autism or lupus or this or that? And I'm always like, it doesn't matter what someone comes in with. I'm going to address the cause. I'm going to go right to the nervous system. And then from there, after a little bit of time, we go and look at other things. And when you bringing things together, right? Path of least resistance. We know we're going to get there. Let's just do the work. People who get the most amazing results and the fastest results in my office, they follow the path of least resistance. They do that with their mind. They trust the process. They know that they're moving in the direction they want to go to. They don't know how it's going to happen. They don't know what's taking over and how that all process is working, but they know it works. They know they're going to get there. It's just like electricity. We have to start looking in that perspective with your life. None of us know how really electricity works, but we know how to utilize it. Right? We know we can create a current, and electricity can flow, and we can do that to generate our computers and so many other different things that we use it for. Pretty cool. And also, electricity is what can cook a man's meal, but also can cook the man. It's pretty interesting how electricity works. But we utilize it for the purpose of that. When it comes to your life, we have to utilize it for the same thing. You are the creator of your life. You state the story. You're the producer. You're the star. You're everything that exists. You're the writer, the author, and everything else along the way. All you have to do is state the goal of what it is, your vision, focus on it, and stick with it. And just trust the process and have fun with it. Laugh when there's the contrast, right? The darkness. Laugh when it comes. Because you know you're getting closer. You're also being shown things. Maybe you wanted to have this goal, and the universe said, you know what? We want to create that for you, and we're going to, because whatever you state, it's going to do. But at the same time, it says, but we're going to help you take it even a further level, more than what you didn't see. And we're going to throw some little situations in your life to help you be clear, a little more on the clearer side of things to go that route. You see, for me, the concepts I had to learn on a financial level, and I share this in my book, and I talk about the whole story, but on a financial level, I was very resistant. I thought I had to control all these different factors in my life in order to become successful, all these different tips, tricks, and all the things that I've learned. And I had so much resistance, I was choosing the hard road. And that hard road led me to a bankruptcy. And that bankruptcy taught me a lot, though, because I went through it, and then all the journey after that. And it really got me to fine tune, and I started to see all the things I was missing. I started to see all the little things that I could have changed and turned it all around, but I was so resistant that I didn't trust the process. And the beautiful thing is now, all those lessons I've learned, man, what it has taught me, the person I became through it all, I had more success and joy than I ever thought it was possible. Ever thought was possible. And I'm more of a creator now, where I know I'm part of the process even more on a financial level now, because I'm testing everything out. Because life is all about a test. And it's amazing how things turn around. So in your life, look at the things that aren't going well is probably, or taking longer, or not achieving at the level you wanted to. You know, some people will say, oh, those are expectations that you have, and you got to lower them. I don't believe in that. You know, there's a few different gurus out there that speak that stuff, and nothing against them. I've learned so much from them, but I don't agree with that, because why can't your expectations be as high as you want them to be? The only thing about your expectations is don't hold on to them. That's the path of most resistance. Don't say this is how it has to be within this amount of time. No, that's creating too much stress. You're going down a path of most resistance. Because what if you need a year and a half instead of 6 months? What if you needed 5 years instead of 2 years? Right? For you, your path is going to be totally different than someone else. The universe knows more than anything more than any of all of us put together, and it knows what's best for you. So it's as long as you set your vision and your goal and have faith, and what I mean by faith is that you know for a fact it's already happening. It's already happening. It's like ordering a package on Amazon and they say 2 days shipping, and you know in 2 days you're getting that shipment. It's like going on Netflix and you're going to want to watch a movie and you click play and you know for a fact it's going to play no matter what. That's the conviction and faith you have to know. And once you're there, you've accepted the path of least resistance. Anytime that you look at your path and you go, why this or why that or why isn't this happening to me or why is it taking so long? And you start asking the questions of why, you're going back down the path of most resistant. You're thinking there's something flawed with the universe. You think there's something flawed in the process. Have faith, choose your vision, choose your goal, create an image of it, and have faith to know it's going to happen regardless. Because by law, by universal law, if you do that and you focus on the path of least resistance, it will happen faster than you can imagine. And you'll have fun in the process, because that's where your joy, your bliss, and your happiness all resides at. Thank you for listening to the Mindful Experiment podcast. For past shows, please visit www.empoweryourreality.com. I hope this show inspired you and added to your life to help you rediscover who you really are, to break through those limits. For connecting with us on social media, please check us out on Facebook at www.facebook.com/empoweryourreality. You can check us out on Twitter. Our handle is Dr. Vic21. And also check us out on Instagram. It's instagram.com/Dr. Vic Manzo. And as always, if this show you found to be helpful for you, by paying it forward and sharing this podcast with someone that you know who could benefit from it. And last but not least, if you liked the podcast show, please give us a review, 5-star. We'd appreciate that. Thank you for listening to The Mindful Experiment, helping you discover your infinite potential.